Like we always do about this time. Perfect. Like we always do about this time. Perfect.
Morning everybody, how are we? We've got our first one in. It's a Kia Venga. She's a cool lady, this one. Wanted to come in and get some bass for her car. And even her grandson was kind of like, what are you doing? But she wants a sub. So we've installed this Kicker HS8, which is underneath the seat, just down there. Obviously this has the ability to run off the factory head unit, so I'll put the little controller down here, and then obviously that runs through her standard stereo. But all gravy, sounds quite good. Can't play it, obviously copyright issues. So this one's just about finished, ready to be picked up. Let's just switch it off and turn this one down before we get copyrighted for that one too. And I've just had a little something's been delivered. Whoop. Let's have a little look. Until you have examined for damage, if damage cross out received goods in good condition, otherwise acceptable auto claims to be made. Cool. I need a razor blade. Here's my new light unit, for the one that's got the failed LEDs. That's rather sweet. Cool. Awesome. So we've got a new light ready to go on the other side of the Esprit for the failed LEDs that go around here. So we'll get that in at some point this afternoon. And I'm just trying to sort out the rattle from the heat shield, which I figured out what it is. It is the left-hand heat shield. The bolt has come off, and the washer is basically just bouncing to and fro. So we've got it kind of up in the air at the minute, and yeah, I'm trying to make the thing silent so we've not got that really annoying rattle. But I'll come back to you in a bit. See you in a bit, peeps. Bye. Morning everybody, how are we? We good? Oh yeah. So this will be a continuation on from yesterday. Obviously changing the spark plugs in the Lotus, got the thing powering right. So despite the bad weather yesterday, I did actually take it out for a drive, which I didn't film because frankly I was on the loud pedal way too much. So today it's Thursday. I've got a Land Rover coming in. It's a bit of a mix match really. It's like a series body on a newer chassis, with some sort of off-roady bits which are quite cool. I've got to put in a pair of, well, he wanted some music in the car, but he didn't obviously want to completely isolate the fact that it was kind of like a 4x4 unit. So we are putting some 6x9s in some boxes behind the seats out of the way. And because Land Rovers have these vents across the dash, you don't really want anything electrical behind them, because as they get older, not everyone changes the rubbers, they do shrink, and as you go faster they blow water, little bits of moisture through the dash. Now if that's the case and you've got a radio sat behind it, your radio is going to get wet and eventually explode or stop working. So we didn't want to do that, so instead we've opted for Kicker make this really cool little thing where it's designed for things like classic cars where you don't really want a radio showing because it'll look like tits on a fish. But it gives you a Bluetooth receiver, an amplifier, and a controller all in one unit. So you can have like a little control head to your phone, you can play music off your phone into the speakers, you can have some sound in a car, but you haven't got some sort of flashy, singy, dancey, showy radio in a car that doesn't really suit it. Yes, there are retro radios out there, but it's not even that kind of thing. Like the old retro radios would probably just make it, you know, it'd be like an off-road vehicle with a kind of chromed, you know, old style radio. It still wouldn't look right. It's not that kind of thing. So we're going to just go straight for this Kicker device. That'll be the secret, that'll be the trick, and it'll work well because it's Kicker, of course. But I'm quite interested, quite intrigued, and keen to see today go through. You know, it's going to be a good one. Lots of cool products, different things. I've never fitted one of these, although I've seen and read a lot about them in classic car magazines where people have wanted music but didn't want a stereo showing. So I'm intrigued, keen to see how it goes and works. So it's going to be a fun one. But hope you're well. Middle of the week, we're nearly there. We're on the downward slope to the weekend for those of you that have weekends. But we're nearly there. Oh, and yesterday I did finally get time to manage to wash the bucket, so it no longer smells of ass in here. It was really starting to stink. I don't know whether you've ever seen that. I think it's a YouTube video where they film like McDonald's food getting old, and like you've got normal healthy food that after a certain date it kind of grows mold and bacteria and starts to decompose, where, you know, when you find McDonald's chips in your car and they've been there for like 3 years, they still look like the same chip. And the same with all their food and burgers, they seem to last for ages, which is quite worrying because you wonder how many chemicals and stuff it's pumped full of to be able to do that. But anyway, the McDonald's coffee, when it gets old, it doesn't just stay coffee. Apparently it turns into shit because it stinks in here, but not anymore. Not anymore, young laddie. Fucking car, it's gonna get me arrested. Dee dee dee. La vite. In a bit. Morning everybody. So we have him in the Landy. It's quite cool. 3.9 V8 in it, a Rover. So this is what I mean about it's a bit agricultural. So we don't really want to get hedging in here because these vents here are known for leaking. So as soon as the thing starts hitting wind, you can open these. And you'll get water straight through. And the problem is if you have a stereo on like these cages, they tend to leak, so we don't want that. So what we tend to do, we've got this little box here, so we're going to get the 6x9s in boxes behind the seats, so they're going to sit in this little void. But in here we're going to get the Kicker Bluetooth device, which has its own amp inbuilt. So we'll fix the kicker unit in here and a little controller on the side for the guy, and he can then pair his music to it on his phone, play sounds in the car without worrying about somebody nicking his radio, because obviously security is a bit of an issue. Not that this thing probably gets left anywhere, but even still, we'll try and protect it as best we can. It's quite cool. It's got some fuel cell and some pumps and a filter. It's a bit of a different one. You gotta love the sound of a V8. For an old girl, it's not bad. So this is that little Bluetooth device I was on about. So this is the Kicker PXIBT 50.2. So that's like your little receiver and amplifier, and then that's your little controller. So you get stereo without actually having anything fitted in the car that you can see, kind of thing. So we're going to hide this unit away, and then he just pairs his phone to this. This will output to the speakers, and then basically you just control your music, volume, power off, play, pause on this. Very cool. Let's get cracking. Oh, evening everybody, how are we? Oh, what a crazy day. We've had a lot going on today. The Landy for the Kicker Bluetooth device. Drop everything. I've just been tuning Steve's car again. And the little ones have just phoned me up and said, Daddy, where are you? Chicken is ready. So, oh God, Jesus Christ. I'm falling over everything. So yeah, so I've got the Q7 back in to have a little play with it. This is the one that's got the custom subwoofer I made. Let's turn that on. So yeah, so I made him a crinkle cut box for an Alderson woofer, and we've got the Forza 8.9 bit down there. And that is running everything in the car. So we've got components front and rear, and I'm just doing a little tune on the stereo, just finalizing stuff, getting it all sounding lovely. Jazz and Lee came in to see me today from Alderson, or 4, same thing, and Jazz had a little go at it, and I just wanted to make some adjustments, just for myself more than anything. Steve, my customer, tended to like the system that I put in it last time and how it sounded, so Jazz had a play with it, and now I'm just tweaking, because there's some bits on it that I kind of wanted a little bit differently. So I'm just changing those round, just so I can get the car how I would like it. It's me and Steve kind of had the same taste. Me and Steve. But I shall convene. I'll reconvene with this tomorrow. But I've got the thing until Saturday, I think. That's when he wants it back. Excuse me, I'm multitasking. Oh, but yeah, crazy day. So building the boxes for the Land Rover, that's gone. Showed the guy how to use his Bluetooth device on his phone. He's dead happy with that. Sounds nice and loud. Obviously it's a small cabin, which is pretty awesome. And then yeah, some other bits and bobs through the day, getting the Q7 in, get that tweaked and tuned how it needs to be. Oh crap it. Never enough hours in the day. Going to take the Chaser home tonight, because I want to. They talk about a funny thing when you're drinking wine, right? Kind of, or smelling smells, kind of being nose blind. And the same applies for audio. Once you listen to something, if you listen to it too much, you end up making weird corrections on, not necessarily, you know, you kind of make the wrong decision. So sometimes it's best to mess with it, leave it. So what I intend to do actually is go home in the Chaser, listen to what I've been listening to on another stereo, see how that sounds, to give it some comparison. So when I come in the morning, if I want to, you know, tweak it a little bit, and just to give myself another benchmark, another test kind of level as to where it is. And that way you kind of end up with the best thing. I know some tuners take days to, you know, days and days and days to do audio. That's not me. I'm not that kind of guy. But at the same time, there are little tweaks and stuff that can be made to make it better. But I need a comparison. So I'm going to listen to the Chaser tonight on the way home So I've got a different perspective. I've now got a few of you on my Instagram, I've noticed. So that's kind of cool. Obviously it gives you a direct link, so you can message me on there. I'm chatting with one of my subs, hello dude, about some rivet tools, things like that. But I'm knackered. I'm going to go home and have some chicken, cut this video up for you lot, and I will see you bright and early tomorrow. What day is it tomorrow? Is it Friday tomorrow? It must be. No Dan today, he didn't come. He's obviously busy. I know he's got some broken cars which he's trying to fix, so we will look at it again tomorrow. Take care, bye.